In a large metropolis where skyscrapers compete in height and where the city lights never go out, the reputation of the St. Honoré Clinic crosses borders. Nestled in the heart of the most exclusive district, this establishment is a symbol of medical prestige, where the elites come to seek what is said to be impeccable care. The immaculate corridors, bathed in soothing artificial light, exude the promise of unrivaled expertise. Aisha Touré, 38 years old, accomplished biomedical engineer, takes confident steps towards reception. Her elegant figure, dressed in a sober suit, exudes quiet confidence. Aisha is one of those women who have built their life on hard work and excellence. The daughter of Senegalese immigrants, she grew up learning that effort and resilience are unshakable pillars. Today, despite persistent pain in her abdomen, she remains upright and proud. It's only one routine surgery, an ablation of a benign cyst. Nothing to worry about, he was told. She carefully chose this clinic after weeks of research. No question of taking risks. She read the reviews, studied the surgeons' profiles, checked the certifications. The Dr. Vincent Morel, in particular, is recognized for its expertise in general surgery. A man of science, awarded several times, his medical publications are references. Aisha has confidence. However, a slight unease persists within her, a discreet intuition that she refuses to listen to. The pre-operative room is bright white, almost blinding. Silent machines display colorful curves on LCD screens. Aisha is placed on a stretcher, her heart beating slightly faster. A nurse checks his constants, while an anesthesiologist, Dr. Lemoyne, approaches with a reassuring smile.
Hello, Ms. Touré.
We'll start in a few minutes. Everything will be fine, I promise. You are in good hands. Aisha forces a smile, but her gaze slides towards the half-open door leading to the operating room. It's then that she hears voices, muffled laughter. I hope we won't be accused of discrimination again. With all these stories of medical racism, we need to start making quotas in our operating rooms. It is the voice of Dr. Morel, without a doubt. A silence of a few seconds, then bursts of laughter.
Oh, come on, Vincent. Another doctor laughs.
As long as they pay, it's okay, right? They never know the difference between a good or bad scar anyway.
Aisha feels a cold shiver running down her spine.
The casual tone, the arrogance of their words. His heart speeds up. She wants to speak, to protest, but already the anesthesia mask is gently placed on her face.
Take a deep breath, Ms. Touré.
It will go quickly. She tries to resist, her heavy eyelids tremble, but the darkness overtakes her, inexorable.
One last conscious heartbeat before nothingness.
When Aisha finally opens her eyes, a harsh light attacks her. His throat is dry, a bitter metallic taste invades his mouth. She tries to move, but a sharp pain pierces her. This is not normal. This is not the pain that was described to him. His stomach feels like it's on fire, his muscles tense like ropes ready to snap. His confused gaze sweeps around the room.
A cold, impersonal room. Debe pofaeart monitor punctuates de presiver.
A young nurse, Clara, enters hurriedly, his face marked by fatigue and a glimmer of worry.
Madame Touré, are you awake? How do you feel?
The nurse's voice is soft, but Aisha senses the underlying tension. What happened? She whispers, her voice hoarse. I'm in pain. It wasn't supposed to. Clara hesitates, glancing nervously toward the door. She swallowed hard. The operation took a little longer than expected. The surgeon will come and explain to you. Rest, I'll let the team know. But before Clara even leaves the room, voices rise in the hallway. Aisha distinguishes bursts of anger, muffled words.
What did you do, Sophie?
It's madness to report this. Do you want to destroy your career?
I don't care.
What they did is unacceptable.
We can close our eyes. Aisha se arthrasis.
The first name resonates. Sophie. A nurse. A colleague. What happened while she was unconscious? His intuition screams. Clara closes the door, feeling uncomfortable. Aisha grabs his wrist with a strength she didn't know she had.
Tell me the truth.
What did they do to me?
Clara turns white, hesitates, then, in a low voice, blurts out.
There were complications. But I can't talk about it.
Dr. Morel will come.
Before Aisha can insist, the door suddenly opens. Sophie, a young nurse with features drawn by anxiety, rushes in. His eyes meet those of Aisha. She approaches, challenging Clara with her gaze. Madame Ture, I'm sorry, but you need to know the truth. What they did to you is illegal.
I have proof. Aisha feels her world wavering.
Physical pain is nothing compared to what is coming. The pain of betrayal, of injustice. And this is where his real fight begins. What she still doesn't know is that at the very moment she was plunged into unconsciousness, lying on the operating table, her life was turned upside down in a way she could never have imagined. Sophie, a young operating room nurse, was experiencing an experience that would turn her life upside down. Freshly graduated, idealistic and passionate about her vocation, Sophie firmly believed in the principles of medical ethics, respect for human dignity, and the Hippocratic Oath. But that day, in the pristine, cold operating room, she was confronted with a chilling reality. The room was bathed in harsh light, the regular hum of machines punctuating the clinical silence. Aisha, unconscious under the effect of general anesthesia, was vulnerable, her body entrusted to those supposed to care for her. The Dr. Vincent Morel, a renowned surgeon but known internally for his arrogance and questionable methods, led the team with a mixture of smugness and authority. Although the procedure was supposed to be a relatively simple procedure, Morel suddenly changed course without consulting anyone. He ordered his team to carry out a much more invasive procedure, without any prior consent from Aisha. That's when the masks fell. Honestly, why try so hard? Dr. Morel said in a cynical tone, his eyes fixed on the operating field. In any case, these people do not have the same care needs. An awkward silence ensued, quickly broken by another member of the team, a surgical resident trying to please his superior. What if we tested this new technique? No one will notice.
This is the perfect opportunity.
Sophie felt an icy chill run down her spine. These words had just transformed a medical procedure into a crime. Her heart was pounding, but she knew she couldn't remain passive. Taking advantage of a moment of inattention, she discreetly slipped her hand into the inside pocket of her blouse, activating the voice recorder on her phone. Every word, every sentence, every cynical laugh was now engraved in the digital memory of his device.
The minutes dragged on, heavy with tension.
Sophie concentrated on her task, while internally praying not to be discovered. What she had just heard had shattered her illusions about the medical field. After the operation, Sophie remained alone in the restroom for a long time, her eyes blank. The recording echoed in his head. Should she speak out and risk her career, or stay silent and betray her principles? The answer was self-evident. She couldn't close her eyes. The next day, after a sleepless night, she gathered up her courage and went to the office of the hospital director, an austere man, more accustomed to budgetary discussions than ethical crises. Sitting across from him, her hands sweating, she pressed play. The voices of Morel and his team filled the room, laying bare the horror. The director turned pale. He knew that this matter would go beyond the walls of the hospital. It was a scandal in the making. A few days later, the Dr. Morel entered Aisha's room. His face was tense, but he tried to hide his confusion behind a mask of false benevolence. Madame Ture, there were some complications during the operation, but we handled the situation professionally. His voice was soft, almost reassuring, but Aisha felt an indefinable unease. His instincts were telling him that something was wrong.
Suddenly, the door burst open.
Two men in dark suits, accompanied by Sophie, burst in. One of them, a lawyer representing the hospital board, spoke in a firm voice. Dr. Morel, we need to speak to you immediately.
Morel's face lost all color.
He tried to straighten up, to impose his usual authority, but the confidence had left his gaze. Sophie approached Aisha, gently took her hand. His eyes glowed with fierce determination. "Mrs. Teray," she said in a trembling but resolute voice, "you have been the victim of a serious breach of medical ethics. We have proof." In a few days, the affair made the front pages of all the newspapers. A black patient victim of illegal medical experiments. Racism and abuse of power in a renowned hospital. The media picked up on the story, sparking a wave of national outrage. Lawyers specializing in human rights, anti-racist activists, and patient defense associations mobilized. Social networks were ablaze with supportive hashtags. #JusticeForAka, #HealthWithoutRacism, #Breaking the Silence. Dr. Morell and his team were suspended, then arrested after the opening of a judicial investigation. The evidence was overwhelming. But the matter did not end there. It exposed a broader network of abusive practices within other healthcare settings, exposing long-suppressed systemic racism. Despite the trauma, Aisha refused to let her victim status define her. She became an emblematic figure in the fight against medical discrimination. During the trial, she stood up in front of her executioners and declared in a clear voice, "You tried to erase me, to deny my humanity, but I am here.
Your cruelty only made my voice stronger.
What you did to me, you did to so many others before me.
Today it's over."
The culprits were convicted, and reforms were initiated in the health system. But for Aisha, the real victory lay in collective awareness. Months later, at an international conference on medical ethics, Aisha took the stage. His voice was calm, but each word resonated like an echo of justice. "It's not just about me. These are all those who suffered in silence. Today we have broken this silence." The audience rose to its feet for a standing ovation. With tears in her eyes, Sophie, sitting in the front row, knew she had made the right choice. A fight had been won. But the battle for justice continued.